Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you actually are. Welcome to Linnworks 101, top tips for effective order management. I'll introduce myself. My name's Donnie Morgan. I am based in Southwest London, and I am been working in SaaS with SaaS solutions for God, I think over 10 years now, and been at Linnworks for a year. So that's a quick introduction to myself. I'm going to talk a bit more about who Linnworks are, and then going to move on to a short overview onto Linnworks in more detail, and then talk a bit more about top tips for effective order management, and go into the platform and show you how we're going to dive into the order management piece of Linnworks. So again, feel free to ask as many questions as you like. I'll go through a bit of a lay of the land, just to kind of really help you guys navigate your way through the On24 platform. So if you have once you come into the platform, you should see me in the middle of the screen, I believe. And then at the bottom left, you should be seeing all the resources available to you. And I believe on the top left as well, you'll then see the presentation. That will, once I start sharing everything, that will cover my face. And so you should be able to then get a clear view of the actual platform. Okay. Good stuff. Right, so I will also have my colleague JD Junaid, who's actually going to be answering the questions that you have. So JD should be available to answer some questions on the fly, or if you'd like to keep your questions till the end of the session, feel free to also do that, and we'll try to respond to them as quickly as we can. And if we don't have answers for some of those questions, we will then also get back to you at a later stage. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, my name is Donnie Morgan. I'm based in Southwest London, working in SaaS for over 10 years now, and Linnworks for just a year. To add to that, I'm also quite passionate about solving problems, especially problems with e-commerce solutions at hand. And Linnworks is best placed to help most of those problems be resolved. So a little bit about Linnworks. So we are a total e-commerce solution, really the center of your business or your organization. And with Linnworks, I always like to think that you'd be best equipped to not just grow your business, but also to automate what were once manual processes, and again to give you control of the business again in terms of actually viewing your inventory, so you don't oversell or undersell on the channels that you're actually available on. A bit more about Linnworks. We have over 2,500 customers across 40 countries. We have about 120 channels integrated into Linnworks, and that is actually growing, by the way. We're constantly adding more channels into the platform. So rest assured, you will never really outgrow Linnworks. We will actually grow with you. So once you grow as a business, we'll be there side by side with you to make sure that we provide you with all the integrations that you need, from channels, marketplaces, and also to couriers as well. We also have over 100 integrations by having a very well-equipped app store that allows you to extend the platform of Linnworks, and you'll see what I mean by that when we go into the platform shortly. So that's Linnworks in a nutshell, really. And today I'm going to really talk about the order management piece. This is really one of my favorite, I'll call them processes of Linnworks. The reason being, it really gives you control of all your ordering processes across the different channels. The main challenges that I find customers come to me with, I mean, from a pre-sale standpoint, is that they really are spending a lot of time on manual processes. They don't have visibility of the order statuses, for example, and how they're actually performing with those orders, which can in turn mean that they have a bad rap from their customers. And customers don't, sometimes will not come back if they've had a bad experience with the ordering process. So with Linnworks, we try to make sure we avoid all of that for the customer. Other challenges that we find customers tend to come to us with from an order management standpoint is again about poor customer experiences, like I just said, but actually making, in terms of returns, not having visibility of all of that. And again, making sure that the customers are alienated. We don't want that to happen to our customers. And so our merchants tend to use order management to really nip that problem in the bud. So what we're going to do is really talk about the order management piece and how we can really help you grow your business, how it can help you streamline and automate a lot of your manual processes, provide you with insights into the order details and how you're performing on the different channels, and also provide you with, I would say, a scalable operation to grow your business. So I'm going to go now into the platform, and you can see how Linnworks Order Management can really help you as your business to actually grow and to make sure your processes are streamlined. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen now, and you should hopefully be seeing the Linnworks platform. Now, bear in mind, as I said before, you will see just the platform and not my face. Again, don't think that anything's gone wrong. You will be hearing my voice, but you will see the platform, and I'll take you through the Linnworks platform, starting at the inventory management, just to kind of give you a bit of a backbone, and then concentrating on the order management piece. Okay, so you should hopefully now be seeing the Linnworks platform, and what you should be seeing right now is my landing page, which I've just clicked on there now, which is the primary dashboard. Now, because most of our customers have different roles within their businesses, we provide them with the ability to have different landing pages. Within the Linnworks ecosystem, you can, based on your role, have a different landing page. Again, it could be the order management landing page, for example, or it could be a primary dashboard page. And here you can then see that, just in my example here, I can actually have a default screen, which can be a primary dashboard, or alternatively, it could be the order dashboard, should I want to view that. That's just a little bit of an intro there in terms of how you can have your landing page actually appear. So if I go back to my home screen now, and I move towards the left of the actual solution, you'll see that we have the main processes of Linnworks. Again, you've just seen the what's new section, which is really all the new functionalities that we would actually have within the platform. But if we move towards the left-hand side and you actually view different processes, we have a complete, robust, and very, I call it intuitive, I call it the backbone of Linnworks, really, and that's the inventory management piece, which you saw a 101 session a couple of months ago. And that entails getting visibility of all your inventory, also your listing processes, managing your purchase order, your supply chain, and also things like your warehouse transfers for FBA, for example. All that's all included directly within the inventory management piece of Linnworks. Then we've got the order management piece, and which is where I'm going to be spending a lot more of my time today for you guys. This is really where you'd get all the orders that you've got from your different channels and marketplaces appear in a single unified view to provide you with somewhat a one-stop shop for processing all those orders, for making sure you have visibility of all those orders, rather than actually logging into different environments, so logging into Amazon, logging into eBay, logging into your Shopify store, for example, to actually process all of those orders. That is actually quite time consuming. We talk about three pillars in Linnworks, really. We talk about the control, we talk about automate, and we talk about grow. Those three pillars really are the backbone to managing your business, your e-commerce solutions. And in terms of the automation part of things, this is really where the order management comes into play, and where it really holds its own, because we provide you with the tools to automate what was once a manual process. And you'll see that once I go into more detail on order management. Shipping management, we're not going to talk too much about today, but again, this is also available as a core process of Linnworks. And obviously, we've got all the good things like the dashboards and the reporting, etc. So let's go ahead and just have a quick view of the inventory piece, just to start us off. And really look at how we're going to talk through the order management piece, and really how this flows directly into the inventory. So here we're seeing all the products or the SKUs that you sell across the different channels and marketplaces. And you can see we provided with all the basic information and more detailed information at a SKU level as well. And the reason why I'm talking about this piece is really because I wanted to just bring to your attention things like, for example, the postage definitions, where we actually capture things like the weights and dimensions of a particular SKU that you're selling on whatever channel that you're using as a business. This will then move into the automation piece, which we'll then talk about in our rules engine, which can drive how you can essentially choose a particular courier or particular service, and we can do all of that from the rules engine in the order management piece. So you haven't really got to touch any of that. And that's why I wanted to talk a bit more about all these attributes that are captured at a SKU level for the individual SKU. Again, if we look at the list and description tab here within the inventory management piece, here you can see we have for, say, an individual SKU that can be sold on different channels at different prices. It can have a different title on the different channels, and also you can have a different description on the different channels. And once we go into the order management piece, you can see how this is actually reflected. So I'm going to stop there for a second and kind of go more into the order management piece. So you've got your product listed on the different channels. You've got your orders coming directly in from those different channels, and you want to get visibility of all of those orders to make sure you can process those orders in a timely manner with less manual processes, to be honest. As you can see on here, I've actually got all these products that have been listed on different channels here. It could be Amazon, or it could be eBay, for example, or Magento, and what have you. These are all the channels that I could potentially list some of my products on. So once all those orders are coming in from these different channels here that we've spoken about, we'll get the orders coming directly into the order management interface right here. Now, this bit is actually quite straightforward, because I particularly like this view because I've seen how much benefit this is really given to a lot of customers. With this view, you have a consolidated view of all of the orders coming in from the different channels, as you can see. You can see that we've got orders coming in from Amazon, for example. We've got order coming in from Shopify, and we've also got orders coming directly, and we've also got orders coming in from, say, eBay, for example. So this is really just by looking at all of these orders in the order management screen, you can see that you can tell where it's come from, what's being ordered, how many of them has been ordered. You can also see where the item actually resides in the warehouse or in your virtual shop, should you have that. And you can also see what shipping courier has been chosen and service, and the tracking information as well is all provided directly in the order management interface. Most importantly, you can see who ordered this particular, the actual items, and you can also see the price of that. But if we scroll down towards the right, you can then see another column there, which is really quite important. And this is the actual fulfillment column. This is really providing you with visibility on whether or not you can fulfill that order that the customer has ordered from those channels that you subscribe to. So if we also now just have a look a bit more on the order management screen, you can see that if we go to the top here, we have different views which are available to you. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this section now rather than before is because you can also create multiple views depending on how you want to process these orders. So it might be you want to just have a view for single line orders, or you might want to have a view for unpaid orders, or you might want to have a view for, say, Royal Mail orders, for example. You can create different views, which you can then assign to different process owners of the business. Now, based on that, those particular owners might then want to have a different filter for the view that they've been provided. They might want to break that view down and say, right, we're working with Royal Mail orders going up by Amazon, but we want to see exactly what destination it's going to, and we can then look at orders just going to, for example, it could be France. We can just hit apply on that, and that's now going to provide us with just the orders for France. So again, with the views of the order management screen, you can assign different, I suppose, work to be done by different process owners, and those process owners can then go ahead and use the filters to really filter, make sure that they effectively work on making sure those orders are processed at a timely manner, and they can also get visibility of all that needs to be done. If you have orders that are potentially coming in, say from going to a 3PL, for example, you can also get visibility of all of those orders. And also, if you've got orders coming in from, say, FBA, and you want to get visibility of those orders, you can also get visibility of those orders from the drop down right here. There are other scenarios where I've had a lot of customers say, well, we have people, our customers calling in and wanting to actually place orders over the phone. With the order management piece, we don't just provide you with the ability to get orders from those other channels, but also to create new orders. You can simply just hit the new order button, and that can then allow you to take details to actually process a new order. And again, you can select the products that you want to then send out to that customer.
Sorry, Donny.
So if we go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, Donny. You are stopped sharing your screen. So can you please share your screen?
Thank you, JD. Let me go ahead and reshare that again.
Thank you.
You should hopefully be seeing my screen again. I think the Wi-Fi dropped me off there. Can you guys see the open order screen view here?
Thanks, Donny. We can see the screen. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that, JD. Appreciate it. So I'll kind of just recap on where I was, depending on where you last saw my screen. I was talking a bit about the views that are available to you, and also the filters. And then I went ahead and spoke about getting visibility on orders from different locations, for example, a 3PL, or if you had orders, an FBA that you wanted to get visibility on, you could also do that directly within the order management screen right here. And then I went ahead and spoke a bit more about having customers calling in and creating new orders, and that's a new order button right there. So we provide you with the option of also taking orders over the phone directly or via email. Moving on, I'm going to go ahead and open up an individual order and show you exactly the level of detail that we capture on an order. And then I'll talk a bit more about how we can actually process all these orders for you. So here you can see I've gone ahead and opened up an existing order, and you can see that we have a lot of all the basic information captured from an order level standpoint. We've got, again, the customer that ordered that particular item. We've got the detail of the order as well, including the internal and external reference, i.e. the Amazon and the internal reference that you might have. We've also got the item that was actually ordered. And you can, if you wanted to edit this order, go into the order and edit that order, maybe add additional shipping costs, for example, or maybe add a discount if you wanted to do that. That can also be done directly within the order management on the fly. And you can see we also have the information on the shipping, again, the actual courier that's been chosen, and we've got the weights and dims of that particular item that's been ordered. This is again why I started off by talking about or showing you an individual SKU, and in the product description tab, we actually saw how we had the weights and dims on here as well. That's why I covered that piece off to start off with. And things like the notes, for example, if you are working with, say, if you've got a Shopify integration and a customer adds a note to say maybe you have this delivered somewhere else, or split the order, for example, all that can be captured from the channel, and that can then get populated directly into Linnworks in the order management notes section right here, as you can see. Additional properties that you may have to be viewed, things like identifiers, for example, split orders, or extended properties for certain orders, can also be captured at the order level. And you can also see exactly what's been done at the order level in terms of the history, in terms of the invoice has been printed, or a stock item label, for example, or a pick list has been printed. All that can be viewed directly in the history of that particular order. So again, providing you with a lot of information at your fingertips to make sure that you are well informed and to make sure that order is then processed in a timely and more effective manner. I'll just go ahead and close this down right now, and then we can go back into the order management screen, and you can see all the information that's actually captured right here. I'm going to change my view and go to my all open orders view, just to give a bit more visibility on everything. And you can see that I have some buttons up at the top here, which are really actions that I can take on any of these orders. I can process these orders individually or in bulk. I can simply just create buttons for most of my functions that I'll be showing you shortly. I can also print shipping labels directly on an individual order or in bulk. But if I wanted to go ahead and do more processing on a particular order to actually get the order out, you can see that I have a lot of functions actually available to me. I can organize the orders manually, of course, initially, to a different folder. Case in point, you might be going to a 3PL or a drop shipper, for example. That can also be done. Or we can go to a different location or different fulfillment center. We can do all that directly from the order management screen manually initially. And if I wanted to say maybe, I don't know, add a particular item to a purchase order, for just-in-time ordering, I can do that directly from the order management screen manually as well. Also things like, for example, changing a shipping service, which is quite common actually. It may be that you have a subscription to a different courier or a particular service because it might weigh a bit more, and say the customers called and added something else to their order. And so the original courier that we're using isn't the cheapest anymore. You can manually change the shipping service for an order individually or in bulk as well. Other points to note as well is that you can also split the packaging as well. So if you've got some orders that come in and you need to actually say maybe get one piece out and then save the rest for later, that can also be done. And you can also do things like maybe even generate a pick wave for some of these orders. This is an automated pick list, if you like. That's what a pick wave actually is. So again, this allows you to, or your pickers in the warehouse, to go ahead and and process the orders by choosing all the products that have been chosen for the orders in a more strategic manner, if you like. So we can provide you with an automated pick list, which is called PickWave right here, to allow you to pick all the items for processing of those orders. Other functions that you can manually do as well are things like printing a shipping label or an invoice label or an invoice or even a stock item label. All that can be done manually within the order management piece. And essentially what you're seeing on here are really all the functions that that any e-commerce solution should be providing, and we provide all of this for you as a customer. And as you can see with the order management piece, you can also do things like, say, change a status to paid, for example, or even split an order or merge or delete an order. All that's available to you at your fingertips. Now, I'm sure you're all thinking, that's actually quite long-winded. Why is you right-clicking and doing all of this function? This is to show you what's actually available to you if you wanted to process the orders manually. Most of the customers that I work with tend to always use the rules engine to do all of this for them. And this is where I'm going to spend a bit more time to talk a bit more about the rules engine, which is my favorite piece of Linnworks because it really provides a lot of value and time savings for our customers. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the rules engine right now. And you can see that we have a very, I call it a very intuitive rules engine that essentially will allow you to do most of those functions that you've just seen in an automated manner. So we have an onboarding team that essentially work with all our customers to make sure that any of the rules or the processes that they have in-house that have to be replicated in the order management process are actually done for them. The rules engine is really quite straightforward. It's automating all of those processes for you to make sure we give you that time back. If you remember those 3 pillars I spoke about, the control, the automate, and the grow, this is really the automation side of things. If we go into a simple rule, you can see this is just a warehouse allocation rule, and it has a starting process right here. And also we have the conditions here in white, and then we've got the actions here in blue. So very straightforward rule. It's saying, if you've got orders coming in from the UK going to the US, shipped to the US, then assigned to a warehouse in the US, in Texas. Same thing goes for orders coming in from the US, coming into the UK, and you want to get those orders sent out to your customers. Then we're saying get all of those orders assigned to your London warehouse. Very straightforward. The rule runs in the back end, and so once all the orders come through, you haven't got to do anything at all. It's because if the rules have all been set, it will be done for you, and again, you can start processing the orders directly. So again, very straightforward in terms of how this can be set up. And the rules engine works on any of the, I suppose, the fields or the properties of order management. If I just go into the edit here, you can see that we can essentially add a rule for any of these conditions right here, quite a lot, as you can see. And where you want to have an external function kicked off, you can also have a macro to go ahead and actually kick something off externally as well. So again, very flexible in terms of what we allow you to do with the rules engine. Let's go ahead and have a look at another rule really quickly. And this is actually going to be the shipping allocation rule. The reason why I'm talking about this rule is because this is actually one of the main functions of the order management piece that a lot of our customers love, is that it allows them to do what were once manual tasks. And I'm not kidding when I say I've actually spoken to quite a few customers that work in Excel to manually go ahead and choose a courier or a service based on the weights and DIMs of a particular order. as in going through a spreadsheet to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is quite time consuming. And what we want to do is actually provide you with a lot of value in Linnworks to make sure that you get your time back and you can really spend more time with the family, or or go on a holiday, or take a longer weekend, for example, by providing you automation for all of those processes. Here you can see I have a shipping allocation rule. Again, I've got a start section of that rule, and I've said we've got this condition here. If it's from Amazon, if it's going to the UK, if it's a prime order, if it weighs this particular weight or has this dimensions, then assigned to a different service or courier. Same thing goes for the next piece down here. We're going to say if it's an eBay order, for example, and it's going to the UK, then you may want to assign to someone else or a particular service or another courier. And the list goes on, and it can be as granular or as simple as you want it to be. That's one of the benefits of the rules engine and order management. And I think this is really where you see Linnworks come into its own, because we provide you with the automation to make your life a lot more simpler. It's about making sure you get a lot of value from the solution to make sure you get more orders coming in, and the more orders that you have coming in, the quicker you can process all of those orders. And that's what order management gives to you. It gives you the ability to work on orders coming in from different channels, to make sure that you have visibility of all of those orders, to make sure you can process all of those orders, for example. And you can process the orders directly by using a barcode scanner, which I have here as well, or alternatively, you can manually process the orders directly. So if we have a look at one of the pieces right here, right now, you can see that we have, we can go into, say, for example, the process orders, and you can see, you get a visibility of all the process orders directly from here. And again, you can actually view them either by having a date filter, etc. All that can be done for you. And if you wanted to go ahead and say create a pick wave for any of these those orders, now if you recall, I mentioned that pick wave is a way to provide your pickers in the warehouse to pick those orders strategically, to make sure they're not running up and down the warehouse, to make sure that they're picking those individual items for the orders, and actually then having those items dispatched. So the pick, pack, and dispatch process is also managed directly within the order management piece. Now, bear in mind that in terms of providing a tool for those pickers and packers to fulfill the picking process for those orders, we do have a Linnworks mobile piece, which allows the pickers to essentially work with the Bluetooth Android scanner, and they can then go ahead and see exactly where the item actually resides. Now, if I just go back really quickly and you have a look at one of these pieces over here, you can see that I have this piece here, and I'm just going to open this up here, and you can see that in terms of a pick wave that's been created, you can see exactly where the items actually reside, and you can see what's been picked or not. Okay. So I'm going to go back into the order management overview screen, the open order screen, and you can see how we can represent a pick wave. Very straightforward. All I'll do is I'll just choose these 3 orders to get processed, for example, and I can just simply just right click, wrong one there. If I can do that, I can just right click on that one, and I can just go into generate pick wave. And that's now generating a pick wave. And as you can see on here, we can then have the invoices printed out at the same time. And we can also group the pick wave either by items or orders. And you can also then assign to a particular individual as well. Now, bear in mind, you can also set the max items by pick wave as well. So you can either have it by orders or by SKUs. And if you have a look at a preview of what a pick wave actually looks like, very straightforward. This is actually, these are all the orders that need to be picked for the processing. We've also got where the items actually reside, and we've also got the SKU names as well, and also the quantities to be picked on there. So again, providing your pickers and packers with the tools to essentially pick all the items for those orders in a more effective and timely manner, to make sure it's all dispatched really quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you how, once the orders have been picked and packed, and they want to go out to the via a different courier, for example, with the order management piece and the shipping allocation rule, you can see that we have automatically chosen the courier for that to go out to. Also providing the tracking information as well, which can then get fed back to that channel to the customer as well. In addition to that, if you then want to send any email that to the customers, we can also have those emails sent out directly from the notification section right here in Linnworks. So what we've seen so far, quite a bit. We've seen how we started off with the inventory management piece. We saw how we got visibility all of those inventory items. We also saw how we went into an individual SKU, and we saw the level of detail provided. We saw how this would have been driven into the order management piece from an automation standpoint. We saw things like the process definition, which contains the weights and dims of a particular SKU, and how that's actually driven from the rules engine to choose a particular courier, and you can essentially add a different service to that as well. So we then went ahead from here and went into the order management view, just right here. And then I spoke about the different views available to you from order management. Also, how you could assign these views to individual based on their processes that they actually work with. And then I spoke a bit more about the filters available to you and how those individuals can also slice and dice the view of the order management to make them work a bit more effectively and efficiently. I also spoke about getting visibility of orders from different, say, 3PL, for example, and also how you might want to get visibility of orders that exist for the FBA. I then went ahead and spoke about the different columns, if you recall, what they meant in terms of where the orders come from, what was actually ordered. I also spoke about being able to fulfill the orders as well. And then I went ahead and spoke a bit more about this column, which again is a can fulfill or cannot fulfill column. And this is where if you can or cannot fulfill the item, you can then simply go ahead and raise a PO for the items that you cannot fulfill. Again, making sure that your supply chain is exactly linked into the order management piece. Very straightforward and very effective in terms of a process flow and streamlining your actual processes. And then I spoke about the different functions on processing the orders by right-clicking on all of these pieces right here. And one thing I didn't really talk about, but I wanted to just bring to your attention, is really how we can speed up a lot of the bulk processing of the orders. Everything that you're seeing or you had seen me do here in terms of actually right-clicking and, say, changing a shipping service, for example, we can create buttons at the top of all of these views, which, again, can be assigned to individuals to allow them to bulk process the orders in a timely manner. So this is really saving you a hell of a lot of time, because all these functions that you're seeing here, of course, you can use the rules and to do a lot of that, but sometimes you might want to manually go in and check certain things, and also then maybe bulk process all those orders. So all these functions, you can actually create buttons to do that as well. In terms of actually, I suppose, actually getting a different view of all the orders, we can actually have multiple view, split view as well. So again, you can have different views available to you in terms of actually how you see the order management coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and I think stop right there and just maybe end really quickly with the reporting and just talk a bit more about how we can show you different dashboards that reflect the order management process. So here you can see that we provide you with a lot of out-of-the-box dashboards and reports, if you like, for the order management process. here, what you're seeing again, our dashboard, or there is a dashboard available to you, where you can actually get visibility of how you're performing on different channels, and as a business, where you've got the most orders coming in from, and you can break it down by geography as well, or by carrier if you choose to do that. This is I find that a lot of customers that work with order management tend to always want to get all the reports provided for them as well, and have a managerial dashboard available to them. And that's exactly what the order dashboard does. It provides you that bird's eye view of how you're performing as a business on the various channels. And that can, as I said, be broken down by source or by country and by carrier as well. And if we look further down, you can see that it's also broken down in terms of how you're performing, how many invoices you printed, what's on hold, what's fillable or not. All that's provided to you in a dashboard format. Just to finish off on that, from a reporting standpoint, you can also see that we have in the query data section here, we also have a lot of reports available to you at your fingertips out of the box, that can provide you with details of all the orders, for example, by dates, for example, if you wanted to actually break it down, or also by channel. So again, we have a lot of reports available to you at your fingertips that are specifically order management relevant. So that's order management in a nutshell. I'm going to end there and open it up to questions. So again, please feel free to add as many questions as you would like in the chat. And I believe JD's already answered some of those for you. But yeah, let's open up to questions. I think there was a question about the recording. Yes, the recording is going to be available to you at the end of this, not just the presentation, but also the recording as well. So you will get a link sent out to you for the recording that you can use at your own perusal. Let's have a look on here. I think most of these have already been answered. Is that correct, JD? If you, I think you've already dealt with these ones, haven't you? Let's have a look at this one here. I'm just going to go through these questions here. I think we've got one from Jake. Let's have a look here. So Jake's asked, can we ship, let's have a look, I think that's been responded to or not. Can we ship stock through warehouse transfers from our warehouse to Amazon FBA? Yes, you can. We have an FBA offering which yeah, it's done in the inventory management, the warehouse transfer piece. And I can send you some more information on that if you'd like, Jake. Let me have a look at that one and just have a look at this. Okay, I think that's a lot of the questions actually answered. I think they've all been answered a lot by JD anyway. So I think we're okay for the moment. But guys, thanks so much for your time. I know there was a lot to get through today, and I hope it's been quite useful for everyone. Yeah, the webinar will be available on demand. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, and feel free to send some more questions in. And the ones that we have not responded to, we will be sending that across again at the end. Okay, thank you.